Hi, welcome to Rose State Health Sciences Division. I'm Debbie Williams, one of the division advisors. Let's go over some of the highlights of the beginning track nursing program. The page you see before you is an overview of our program. It mentions information about the establishing and the accreditation of the program. Once you complete this program, you will have an Associate in Applied Science in Nursing Science degree, and you will then be eligible to apply for your RN license. The program is open to everyone to apply. Once you are accepted to the program, it is a 4-semester program that is spread across 2 school years because you will have summer semesters off. We offer a daytime option, an evening and weekend option, and an online option. You may choose from the options open at the time you are ready to apply. There are prerequisites that must be completed before you start the program, and you can be finishing them while you are applying. You may not start the program unless all prerequisites are complete with a grade of C or better. Now, I'm going to click on the left-hand side to this next tab that says Degree Sheet and Advisement. Let me scoot this down a little bit. The first thing we're going to look at is the degree sheet. Now, this will show you the prerequisites that you need to take. This section right here, this is the general ed requirements. This section right here, this is the program requirements. For now, you need to ignore that because that's what you'll do once you get into the program. The bottom 2 courses here are also part of your prerequisites. These are support and related requirements. The medical terminology has to be done by everyone, but those doing the beginning track will only take this part, this one intro to nursing, and it has to be done within 3 years of the time that you apply to the program, and it is not transferable from another school. If you have taken courses at another school, just get one of the division advisors so that we can go over your transcripts. Be sure and do not take online science courses because the program will not accept them. During the spring and summer 2020 semesters, we can make exceptions to that rule because of the COVID restrictions that forced all schools to go online. If you have questions, be sure and ask us first. I'm going to click out of this and go back to the other item that was the nursing advisement. This is normally the advisement that I send out on an email when I have an inquiry from a student. I'm sure you're wondering if there's a way to bypass the 4 semesters or speed them up. We have found that students are more successful when they have time to study and absorb the material. So each semester is going to be a total of 8 credit hours during your first, second, and third semester. And then your last semester will be 10 credit hours. But each semester will involve a lecture portion, a lab portion, and at least an 8-hour clinical rotation. When you get ready to apply, you are going to choose the application period that has the program option that you want. I'm going to click on this and try to show you this. When you get ready to apply, we have an application that goes out in February through March for fall, which means August. And then we have one from August through September for the semester that starts in January. You can apply for the daytime option or the evening and weekend option at the February 1 through March 1 application. These will start every August. The next application, the August through September, is for the daytime option again or the online option, and these will start every January. No matter which option you choose to do, the daytime, the evening and weekend, or the online option, we do not recommend that our nursing students work more than part-time, but you may choose the program option that works best for your individual situation and see the times for these options on this paragraph that's titled Program Hours right here. On the next page, I want to point out that if you have been a student in another nursing program at any time, you are going to need to visit with the program director before you apply. Her contact information is right here. No matter which option that you choose to do, the prerequisites are all the same. We won't care, let me scoot back up. We don't care about the age of your prerequisites. What we do care about is this last class right here, this Intro to Nursing Concepts. This one cannot be more than 3 years old, and you are not able to transfer it from another program. Down below, we've listed the professional courses for you. This is the program itself. It is showing you that each semester, the first, the second, and the third is 8 credit hours. This is that lecture, the lab, and your clinical rotation. The fourth semester, you'll have an additional 2 credit hour classes. So your semester is actually 10 credit hours on the fourth semester. Now, on the next page will be some of the points for your application process. Make sure that the first thing you would do is you need to apply to the college and get a student ID number. Then make sure your official transcripts are here in admissions. You will not need to provide an extra copy of those when you apply. Also, if you are going to use prerequisite courses from an out-of-state school, we do need to do what's called a degree audit. And if you can do that early on while you're taking your prerequisites here, there will be no surprises and you'll know exactly which courses you can use. Just contact one of the advisors as soon as you can and we can get that started. Now, when you go to submit your nursing application, it's going to be on a point system, and the rest of this is going to explain the points. There are a minimum of 100 points that are required to submit your application. But remember, earning the minimum is not going to guarantee that you get into the program. You never know how many others are going to apply at the same time you are. We require the next generation AccuPlacer test for the application. These tests are on writing, reading, and what we call our Math 1, which is pre-algebra. This is not college level algebra. This is right below that. You can earn up to 45 points on this, but a minimum scores of 250 on each one of these sections is required. If you don't reach the 250, you are not eligible to apply. These tests are free when you take them the first time during a testing period. We ask all of our applicants to take it, no matter how many courses you've taken or how many degrees you may already have. This is still a requirement of the application. We do not use the TEAS test, and if you've taken the next generation AccuPlacer at another school, just make sure that it's the reading, the writing, and the Math 1, and your scores need to be less than 3 years old. Otherwise, not all schools will use all 3 parts of this, so just be sure to talk to a division advisor for help. On the next page, you will also receive 2 points if you have taken at least 18 credit hours of the program prerequisites here at Rose State. You will also receive points for your GPA. The GPA is just figured on the courses that are the prerequisites. It doesn't matter if you've taken college algebra. We're not going to use that grade in that course because college algebra is not a prerequisite. Just use the courses that are listed here down below and on page 2 of the advisement. And we will also have a document that we have on the web page next to the application if when you are figuring your application, if you need help figuring the GPA. And of course, we are here to help you too. Many students will retake the general education courses that they have made a C in if their GPA can improve and give them additional points. For instance, if you figure your GPA and it comes out to be right on the level of a 3.59, which is 35 points, if you have a course that you can take and get a higher grade in, it will automatically raise your GPA, which would give you an additional points on that. You can be taking courses while you apply, but the more that you have done by the time you apply that have grades, the more points you will have. So down a little bit below, each course has its own point value. So you can tell the English, the history, the psychology, the government, all those are worth 2 points. The midterm is 3, the anatomy and the other sciences are 5, and the last one is the intro to nursing is 1. That's why I try to tell students, save the intro to nursing for the end while you're finishing up. Get as many of these courses done before you apply so that your points will be higher. We also have 2 bonus courses that we will give you points for. There's nutrition, developmental psychology, or you can even take pathology. You can take these here at Rose State or you can take them at another school. As long as you have a C or better, you can get a total of 2 points. So just choose 2 of these, but you have to remember to have them done by the time you apply in order to get the points. Now the last thing you'll receive points on is your healthcare experience or healthcare training. If you've just gone through a training program like a CNA or MA or phlebotomy and you haven't been working with that, you'll still be receiving 4 points. Or if you started working in healthcare but you haven't had a year in it, you'll still receive 4 points. So either your training or your work experience is what you'll use. Now, on the next item, if you have worked in healthcare, but it's been from 1 to 2 years, either limited or extensive patient care, you will receive 6 points. If you've had experience greater than 2 years as limited patient care, and they give you an example of respiratory therapy, this is radiology, this is a clinical lab technician, or a physical therapy aide, or a home health aide, or even an EMT. Or even, this will receive 8 points, excuse me. Now, if you've got healthcare experience, which is along the lines of nursing, and you've done greater than 2 years, AUA, a CNA, an MA, paramedic, LPN, or military medic, you will receive 10 points. Now, with all of this, when you go to apply, you will need to have documentation to back this up. Normally, you'll get something from your employer on maybe a piece of letterhead that has your name on it, your job title, job description, and how long you've been there. And that's the best way to get the points. Excuse me. When you total all of these sections up, you will need to have 100 points in order to apply. But if you go ahead and apply and you've had the minimum points, but maybe your points weren't high enough to get in, you can use your letter that says how many points that you had to apply for an LPN program. And we recommend, if you're going to apply to an LPN program, be sure that it is an accredited program such as Moore Norman, Francis Tuttle, or Metro Tech. That just makes it easier if you decide later on to come back to the RN program. But just remember, you will have to have 1 year of experience working as an LPN to be able to come back and apply to the RN program. But if you choose not to do that, if you will contact us, we can go over your points and work on a plan to get your points up so that you're not wasting, say, another year or so. We are always here to help you with your enrollment and your application. And if you want to, you can just click on the links for our emails. They're everywhere, the hsadvisor@rose.edu. And we are happy to help you. Thank you and good luck.